The planet is full of weird and wonderful places, and curious humans just can't resist visiting them and trying to explain how they work with science. But science can't always answer every question, and there are some spots on Earth which seem like they shouldn't exist at all. From the temple built for giants to the rock you can surf, here are the 20 most mysterious places scientists still can't explain. Number 20. Ain Dara. Ain Dara is a tiny town located northwest of Aleppo, Syria, that is home to the Ain Dara Temple, a magnificent building located just west of the settlement. The temple was discovered in 1995 when a massive basalt lion was unearthed by chance. Excavations were carried out in the years after this discovery. The Ain Dara Temple is a Syro-Hittite temple from the Iron Age. The Syro-Hittites, also known as the Neo-Hittites, were a political group that formed around the end of the 2nd millennium BC. There was a power vacuum in the eastern Mediterranean after the demise of the Hittite Empire. The Syro-Hittite kingdom stepped in to fill the void and became the dominating force in the region until the Neo-Assyrian Empire conquered them at the end of the 8th century BC. Despite the fact that the Syro-Hittites are now separated from the Hittites, the former did not regard themselves as distinct from their forefathers. This is backed by epigraphic evidence as well as the region's cultural continuity. Temple styles from the Late Bronze Age, for example, were carried through into the early Iron Age. The Ain Dara Temple was one of these temples and is thought to have been erected during the early Iron Age. The footsteps etched into the stone floor of the Ain Dara Temple are one of the temple's most intriguing characteristics. A pair of footprints may be seen on the portico's floor, followed by a single footprint and a single footprint at the main hall's threshold. The two single footprints are approximately 30 feet apart. Only a human, or god, standing 65 feet tall would have a 30-foot stride.
Before we go on, like this video, smash the subscribe button, and click the notification bell right now, or this centipede will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
Number 19. The Wave Rock. Wave rock, also called the Noongar as Kader Kitch, is a natural rock structure that resembles a large breaking ocean wave. The wave is approximately 49 feet tall and 360 feet long. It is located on the north side of Hayden Rock, a lonely hill. This granite Inselberg is located around 2 miles east of Hayden and 184 miles east-southeast of Perth, Western Australia. Above Wave Rock, approximately halfway up Hayden Rock, there is a wall that follows the curves of the rock surface. It gathers rainfall and directs it to a storage dam. The Public Works Department built the wall and dam for the colonist residents of East Carl-Garran District in December 1928. Both were rebuilt in 1951 to improve the town's water capacity. Many comparable rocks in the Wheat Belt have similar walls. For the Ballardong people, Wave Rock holds cultural importance. Local tribes thought that Wave Rock was built by the Rainbow Serpent, who dragged her bloated body over the ground after she had devoured all of the water in the area. They regarded this location as a cultural learning icon, with a lesson from this Dreamtime story to be remembered for the rest of one's life. The rock is part of a dreaming route that runs from Augusta on the south coast to the Great Victoria Desert in the northeast. Mulca's Cave, Puntapin Rock, Jalakan Rock, Jitterning Rock, and Dumble-Young Lake are among the other attractions along the path. Number 18. Stone Spheres, Palmar Sur, Costa Rica. Costa Rica's stone spheres are a collection of approximately 300 petrospheres in Costa Rica, on the Dicas Delta, on the Isla de Sau. They're also known as bolas de piedra in the area. The spheres are frequently referred to as the decaspheres since they are usually linked to the extinct Decus civilization. They are the most well-known Isthmo-Columbian stone carvings. Their exact meaning is unknown, although they are assumed to have been set in lines along the approach to leaders' residences. The spheres include a variety of sizes and weights ranging from a few inches to over 6.6 feet in diameter. The majority are made of gabbro, a coarse-grained form of basalt. A dozen or so are built of shell-rich limestone, while another dozen are composed of sandstone. They look to be the result of smashing natural boulders with other rocks and then polishing with sand. The degree of finishing and working accuracy varies greatly, although some incomplete spheres remain in the hills. The gabbro originated from places in the hills, many kilometers apart from where the finished spheres are discovered. Palmar Sur is an archaeological site in the Decus Delta, Costa Rica's southernmost province, and the southernmost section of the Punta Arenas province. The alluvial plain of the Decus Delta is delimited by the Fila Grisera to the north and east, the Pacific Ocean to the west, and the Osa Mountains to the south. Number 17. Pink Sands Beach. The lovely pink sand beach on Harbor Island's eastern Atlantic Ocean side is the island's most famous feature. It is 3 miles long and 50 to 100 feet broad, and it appears to go on forever. It was voted Greatest Sand Beach on the Travel Channel's World's Best Beaches program in March 2005, and is considered one of the best beaches in the Bahamas. It was one of 10 beaches chosen from across the world for the program. The sand's almost incomprehensible delicate pink hue comes from microscopic coral insects called Foraminifera, which have a brilliant pink or red shell full of holes through which they extend pseudopodia, or footings, which they use to attach themselves and eat. Foraminifera are one of the most common single-celled creatures in the water, and they serve an important part in the ecosystem. These animals reside on the sea floors, behind rocks, and in caves, as well as the undersides of reefs like the adjacent Devil's Backbone. After the insect dies, the carcasses are crushed by the waves, which wash the remains on shore and mix them with the sand and coral fragments. In the damp sand at the water's edge, the pink pops even more. The sand is constantly cool here, unlike in other areas of the world, so you may stroll about barefoot. Number 16. The confluence of Rhone and Arve rivers. Two rivers that do not get along are located in Geneva, Switzerland. Their fight has resulted in one of the strangest yet most beautiful scenes ever seen by man. The Arve and Rhone rivers are both beautiful with their own distinct colors. Their meeting in an arrowhead shape has sent the entire globe into a frenzy. The fact that the colors of the river do not mingle at their confluence in Geneva is what makes it so special, offering tourists lots of reasons to flock to this natural anomaly. The Rhone River, which originates in the Swiss Alps and flows all the way to France, is one of Europe's biggest rivers. The river's beautiful deep blue color is due to the river's origin in the Alps. The Arve, on the other hand, originates at the opposite end of the Alps and passes through a number of minor glaciers along the way. The Arve's murky brown color comes from a combination of diverse sources and its long journey. Both rivers come together in the shape of an arrowhead, with one part of the arrow being blue and the other brown. In the end, the Rhone triumphs, and the Arve is reduced to a mere tributary. Number 15. Spotted Lake, British Columbia, Canada. Spotted Lake is a salty endorheic alkali lake northwest of Osceola in British Columbia's eastern Similkameen Valley, accessible by Highway 3. Spotted Lake has a high concentration of minerals. It has a lot of magnesium sulfate, calcium sulfate, and sodium sulfate deposits. It also has high levels of 8 additional minerals as well as smaller levels of silver and titanium. During the summer, the majority of the water in the lake evaporates, displaying colorful mineral formations. The mineral composition and seasonal quantity of precipitation influence the appearance and color of large spots on the lake. Magnesium sulfate crystallizes in the summer and contributes significantly to spot color. During the summer, the lake's leftover minerals solidify, forming forming natural walkways around and between the locations. Tlaloc Spotted Lake, as it was known to the First Nations of the Okanagan Valley for generations, was and continues to be treasured as a mystical location with healing waters. The minerals from Spotted Lake were utilized to make ammunition during World War I. Later, for approximately 40 years, the region was under the ownership of the Ernest Smith family. Smith sought to generate interest in a lake spa in 1979. The First Nations reacted by attempting to purchase the lake, and in October 2001 reached an agreement by acquiring 22 hectares of property for a total of $720,000, with the First Nations contributing roughly 20% of the cost. The rest was covered by the Indian Affairs Department. Number 14. Stonehenge, England. Stonehenge is a prehistoric monument in Wiltshire, England, located in Salisbury Plain. It is made up of an outer ring of vertical sarsen standing stones that are about 13 feet high, 7 feet wide, and weigh around 25 tons. With connecting horizontal lintel stones. A ring of small blue stones surrounds it on the inside. Freestanding trilithons, 2 larger vertical sarsens, connected by one lintel, are found within. The entire ruined monument is aligned with the dawn on the summer solstice. The stones are placed within earthworks in the heart of England's most dense Neolithic and Bronze Age monument complex, which includes hundreds of burial mounds. It was built between 3000 and 2000 BC, according to archaeologists. The earliest phase of the monument, which consists of a circular earth wall and ditch, has been dated to around 3100 BC. The first blue stones were erected between 2400 and 2200 BC, according to radiocarbon dating. However, they might have been at the site as early as 3000 BC. Stonehenge is a British cultural symbol and one of the most well-known sites in the United Kingdom. Since 1882, when legislation to safeguard historic monuments was first successfully adopted in Britain, it has been a legally protected scheduled ancient monument. In 1986, UNESCO included the monument and its environs to its list of World Heritage Sites. The National Trust controls the surrounding land, which is owned by the Crown and maintained by English Heritage. Number 13. Mount Kelimutu. Kelimutu is a volcano in central Flores, Indonesia, near the tiny town of Moni. It contains 3 different colored volcanic crater lakes. Lake colors fluctuate over time owing to changes in the oxidation-reduction status of the fluid in each lake, as well as the presence of several key elements like iron and manganese. The balance of volcanic gas intake and rainfall rate determines oxidation-reduction state, which is considered to be mediated via the volcano's groundwater system. Because each lake has its own unique connection to the underlying volcano's activity, the colors of the lakes vary independently of one another. The hues of the craters changed 6 times between January and November 2016. Although it is commonly assumed that the changes are unpredictable, it is more true to argue that scientists lack the data needed to fuel publicly accessible forecast models due to a lack of frequent monitoring of the volcanic system. There were some disagreements with local people about the usage of resources in the early days of building the local national park in the Kelimutu area. Forest rangers have tried to strengthen relations with surrounding village residents in recent years, and overall management has improved. After being observed by a provincial Dutch military commander, B. van Suchtelen, in 1915, the area is believed to have begun to draw attention. Number 12. Skellig Michael, Ireland. Fans of the Star Wars franchise will recognize the enigmatic island of Skellig Michael, which was featured in the classic The Force Awakens. There are, however, more secrets to be discovered on this Irish island. It is located 8 miles off the coast of Portmagee, a tiny village in Kerry, and is totally deserted. However, the island's new star status is expected to spark a major tourism boom. It rises 700 feet above sea level and is home to the remnants of an ancient monastery. Monastery. It was designated as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1996. However, the island's oldest records date from the 8th century, when Dog, monarch of Westminster, was forced to flee to the island following a battle with another tribal king. The monastery was first recorded about this period, but it was most likely erected in the 6th century, making this place rather old. It was dedicated to Saint Michael the Archangel in the 11th century, who was like God's angel army's general pattern. Climate change caused the monks to evacuate the island in the 13th century. Since the weather in Ireland got considerably colder at the time, pilgrimage by exceptionally devout people persisted into the 18th century, lighthouses were built in the 16th century, and it is also known for its enormous colony of seabirds. Number 11. Al Nazla Rock Formation. A traveler might well be bewildered by a wide range of natural phenomena. Al Nazla Rock Formation in Saudi Arabia's Taima Oasis is one of them. Taima has been inhabited from prehistoric times, according to recent archaeological finds. Al Nazla is one of the region's most picturesque petroglyphs. The smooth sides and the flawless cleft between the two upright stones are totally natural. The stones are supported by little pedestals. How long will they be in this state of equilibrium? What caused the split in the middle? The boulder split most likely because the earth beneath one of the two supports moved slightly. It's possible that it was formed by a volcanic dam of a weaker material that crystallized before everything was unearthed. It might also be an old pressure fracture that has been pushed or pulled apart, and you can see a parallel crack immediately to the right of it. It might also be an ancient fault line, as fault activity frequently produces a zone of weaker rock that erodes more easily than the surrounding rock. In any case, this is a very mysterious wonder. Did someone say aliens? Number 10. Papakolea Beach, Hawaii. On the island of Hawaii, Papakolea Beach is a green sand beach. Talofofo Beach on Guam, Punta Cormorant on Floriana Island in the Galapagos Islands, and Hornindalsvatnet in Norway are the only other green sand beaches in the world. Olivine sand eroded from the surrounding volcanic cone gives it its unique hue. Puamahana, a tuff ring created around 49,000 years ago and connected with Mauna Loa's southwest rift, is half-circled by this beach. Tuff rings, unlike cylinder cones, are mainly made of volcanic ash formed by magma groundwater interactions. The tuff ring has largely collapsed and been eroded by the ocean since its last eruption. The tuff ring's fragmented volcanic debris contains olivine, a silicate mineral with iron and magnesium that is also known as peridot when it is of gem quality. Olivine is a typical lava mineral that forms one of the first crystals as the magma cools. Locals refer to olivine as Hawaiian diamond, and it is most recognized for being found in Oahu's famed Diamond Head landmark. The olivine crystals that are winnowed off the eroding headland by the sea movement are the source of the green coloring of the beach sands. Olivine accumulates on the beach because it is thicker than the surrounding ash matrix, whereas less dense volcanic sand is carried out to sea. Number 9. Richat Structure, Mauritania. The Richat structure is a notable circular structure in the Adrar Plateau of the Sahara, near Wadain, northwest Africa. Richat means feather in the local dialect, and it is also known as tajens in Arabic. The circular hole of the leather pouch used to take water from local wells is referred to as tajens. It's a 25-mile-wide eroded geological dome that exposes sedimentary rock in strata that seem like concentric rings. Inside, igneous rock is exposed, including magnificent rhyolites and gabbros that have been hydrothermically altered, as well as a central megabreccia. The building also houses a significant collection of Acheulean archaeological relics. The sedimentary rock revealed in this dome ranges in age from the late Proterozoic sandstone in the middle to Ordovician sandstone on the dome's periphery. The sedimentary rocks that make up this formation have an outward slope, a range of intrusive and extrusive igneous rock are exposed inside the Richat structure's interior. Rhyolitic volcanic rocks, gabbros, carbonatites, and kimberlites are among them. Rhyolitic rocks are made up of lava flows and hydrothermally altered tufaceous rocks from two separate eruptive centers thought to represent the eroded remnants of two Mars. The gabbroic rocks form two concentric ring dikes according to field mapping and aeromagnetic data. Number 8. Kokoe Beach. The Moeraki Rocks are a group of exceptionally huge and spherical boulders located between Moeraki and Hempton on New Zealand's wave-cut Otago coast. They can be found in isolated or groups of boulders along a length of coastline that has been designated as a scientific reserve. Embedded solitary boulders are commonly exposed as mudstone, which comprises local bedrock and landslides, is eroded by wave action. Coastal erosion has extracted gray-colored septarian concretions from the mudstone that surrounds them and concentrated them on the beach. The Moeraki boulders are concretions formed by the cementation of Paleocene mudstone from the Moeraki Formation, which was excavated by coastal erosion. The major body of the boulders began to develop at the surface of the Paleocene sea bottom in what was then marine mud. Studies of their composition, especially the magnesium and iron concentration, as well as stable oxygen and carbon isotopes, indicate this. The stones were thought to be the remains of eel baskets, calabashes, and kumara washed ashore from the wreck of the Arai to Uru, a huge sailing canoe, according to local Maori tales. The petrified hull of the wreck is said to be the rocky shoals that extended seaward from Shag Point, and the body of the canoe's captain is said to lie on a nearby rocky peninsula. According to folklore, the reticulated patterning on the stones represents the remnants of the canoe's fishing nets. Number 7. Michigan Triangle, Lake Michigan. The enigmatic Michigan Triangle is located in North America's Great Lakes and is shaped like an acute angle triangle. To be exact, it encompasses Lake Michigan, the United States' biggest freshwater lake. The first half of the triangle is made by linking Ludington and Benton Harbor, Michigan, on the left side of Michigan's mitten. From Benton Harbor to Manitowoc, Wisconsin, the second side runs. The triangle's third side, which connects Manitowoc and Ludington, completes the picture. For decades, scholars have been intrigued by strange events in the vicinity of the gorgeous lake. The Michigan Triangle has a long history of strange occurrences dating back to the late 17th century. It was a period when the world was looking for new methods to extend trade routes. In 1679, the Leg Griffin, one of the biggest sailing ships in the period, set out on her inaugural trip to China and Japan in search of a northwest passage. Everything proceeded smoothly until the ship reached the Michigan Triangle, from which it never returned. Although it is not the only ship that might have sunk, the fact that no debris or evidence of the crew have been discovered yet is terrifying. Number 6. Lake Maracaibo, Venezuela. Catatumbo lightning is a meteorological phenomenon that occurs above the Catatumbo River's delta, where it empties into Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela. It occurs 140 to 160 times per year, 9 hours per day, and 16 to 40 times per minute, and is caused by a mass of storm clouds rising to a height of above 1 kilometer. It may be found in and around Lake Maracaibo, most often over a bog formed when the Catatumbo River flows into the lake. The frequency of lightning fluctuates throughout the year and from year to year. For example, from January to March 2010, it was quiet, reportedly due to drought, raising fears that it had gone out permanently. Between 1960 and 1970, Russian researcher Andrei Zavrotsky researched the region 3 times with the aid of the University of the Andes. He discovered several epicenters of lightning in the wetlands of Juan Manuel de Aguas National Park, Claras Aguas Negras, and West Lake Maracaibo. In 1991, he hypothesized that the phenomenon was produced by the collision of cold and warm air currents in the area. According to the study, the presence of uranium in the bedrock might be an isolated source of the lightning. Number 5. Marble Caverns' Unusual Marble Creations. The Marble Caverns, also known as the Capillas de Marmol, are a stunning natural treasure situated in the General Carrera Lakes. This glacial lake is accessible by boat and takes approximately half an hour to see. It is a photographer's paradise and a magnificent location that showcases the beauty of nature. From December to March, the ideal time to visit this location is early in the morning. The stunning turquoise water, azure-wide skies, and intricately carved swirling cavern walls. The secret marble beauty tucked between the rock islands, accessible only by ferry, is an unrivaled example of nature's handiwork of calcium carbonate deposits in bright colors that give your mind a sense of peace. The breathtaking granite formations and panoramic transparent waters are a sight to see. The thrashing of the sea waves on the rocks, as well as 6 centuries of calcium carbonate deposition, have resulted in the creation of this exuberant structure, which is a spectacular and memorable aquatic adventure. This is a one-of-a-kind location that may be reached via kayaks, boats, canoes, and even motorboats. When visiting in the spring, portions of caverns may occasionally be walked due to the low water level, which is a fantastic feeling. There's also the possibility of traversing the insides of marble caverns, where you could find some unique patterns buried deep within them. When visiting this location out of season, the deep black waters, which are at considerably higher levels, create a different kind of mystique. This site is stunning in all seasons and at all times, yet they are all equally beautiful. Number 4. Kawah Ijen Lake, Indonesia. The Ijen volcanic complex is a collection of composite volcanoes on the boundary of East Java's Banyuwangi and Bondowoso regencies. Mount Merapi in central Java and Merapi in Sumatra both share the same derivation as the name Gunung Merapi, which means mountain of flames in Indonesian. The Ijen volcano, west of Gunung Merapi, features a 1-kilometer wide acidic crater lake with a turquoise color. Sulfur-laden baskets are carried by hand from the crater floor to the lake, which is the site of a labor-intensive sulfur mining business. The labor is highly compensated in comparison to the cost of living in the area, but it is quite demanding. Within the caldera, or around its rim, there are several post-caldera cones and craters. The caldera's southern side has the highest density of post-caldera cones, which run east-west. The world's largest extremely acidic crater lake, the lake is well known. It also serves as a source of water for the Banyu Pahit River, resulting in extremely acidic and metal-enriched river water that has a severe negative impact on the downstream river ecology. George Karunis, an adventurer, carried a small rubber boat out onto the toxic lake on July 14th to 15th, 2008, to assess its acidity. Due to a high concentration of sulfuric acid in the lake, the pH of the water near the lake's margins was measured to be 0.5 and 0.13 in the center. Number 3. Devil's Tower National Monument, Wyoming. Devil's Tower is a butte made of volcanic rock in the Bear Lodge River district of the Black Hills above the Belforche River, near Hewlett and Sundance in Crook County, North Wyoming. It stands 867 feet from the peak to base and rises 1,267 feet above the Belforche River. President Theodore Roosevelt declared Devil's Tower as the first national monument in the United States on September 24, 1906. About 1% of the monument's 400,000 yearly visitors have climbed Devil's Tower in recent years, primarily using traditional climbing techniques. Colonel Richard Irving Dodge's translator apparently misunderstood a local term to mean Bad God's Tower during an expedition in 1875, giving rise to the moniker Devil's Tower. Sedimentary rocks make up the majority of the terrain around Devil's Tower. During the Triassic period, the oldest rocks seen in Devil's Tower National Monument were put down in a shallow sea. Along the Belforche River, you may find dark red sandstone and maroon siltstone interbedded with shale. The reddish of the rocks is caused by the oxidation of iron minerals. The Spearfish Formation is the name given to this rock stratum. The Gypsum Springs Formation, which is Jurassic in age, is a narrow strip of white gypsum above the Spearfish Formation. Number 2. Dead Valley, the beautiful yet dead forest. Dead Valet is a white clay pan in Namibia's Namib Naukluft Park, near the more renowned salt pan of Sossusvlei. The clay pan was produced when the Sashab River overflowed, producing temporary shallow ponds where camel thorn bushes grew due to the quantity of water. Drought struck the area as the climate changed and sand dunes encroached on the pan, blocking the river's flow. The trees died because there was no longer enough water for them to survive. Some plant species, such as Salsola and clusters of Nara, have evolved to survive on morning mist and extremely rare rainfall. Because of the strong light, the surviving bones of the trees, which are said to have perished 600 to 700 years ago, are now black. The wood does not disintegrate because it is so dry, even if it is not petrified. Its name means dead marsh in English, and Afrikaans vallei, a lake or marsh in a valley between the dunes, and is sometimes spelled dead vallei or dead valley. The pan is also known as Dewy Valley, which is the Afrikaans name for it. There are several references to the place on the internet, with its name sometimes mistranslated as Dead Valley. Number 1. Caño Cristales, the River of Five Colors. Caño Cristales is a tributary of the Guayabero River in Colombia. It is located in the Serranía de la Macarena province of Meta. The river is known as the River of Five Colors, or the Liquid Rainbow, because of its vibrant hues. The river bank is variously tinted yellow, green, blue, and black, and notably red from the end of July to November, the latter caused by Macarenia clavigera plants on the riverbed. Some have proclaimed the river to be one of the most beautiful on the planet. According to National Geographic, the river appears to have originated in the Garden of Eden about 1.2 billion years ago. The quartzite rocks of the Serranía de la Macarena table formed. They are a western extension of Venezuela's Guiana Shield. Caño Cristales is a rapid-flowing river with several waterfalls and rapids. Many areas of the riverbed feature small circular holes known as giant's kettles, which were created by pebbles or pieces of tougher rocks. When one of these tougher rock fragments fall into one of the cavities, it is twisted by the water circulation and begins to cut away at the hollow wall, expanding the pit's size. The Serrana de la Macarena lies on the boundary of three huge ecosystems, each with a rich flora and fauna diversity: the Andes, the Eastern Llanos, and the Amazon rainforest. Plant and animal life have evolved a variety of adaptations to cope with the paucity of nutrients on the table's solid rock surface. The hydrophytic rainforest, which can be hot, warm, or chilly, in the Serrana de la Macarena's representative biome. Around 420 bird species, 10 amphibian species, 43 reptile species, and 8 primates live on the tableland. Have you been to any of these mysterious places? What's the strangest place you've ever visited? Let us know in the comments below. Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. See you next time!